Yo, yo, yo. It's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about why it's easier to keep a woman and build some sort of emotional bond with her. When you retain, you're on no fap, and you're intentional about the things that you do. Because a lot of guys like to do things just in vain. In general, like a lot of let's say people in general, but guys specifically, a lot of people just like to do things in vain. They do things in vain. They do things just to do it. There is no meaning behind anything that they do, and there's no purpose behind what they're doing. They're just doing it. They're just going through the motions. And if you live your life like this, you're pretty much never going to attain what you really desire. Because the thing about life is for the people who are specific and intentional. Life is for people who are specific and intentional. If you just, let's say, have a meaningless job, you have meaningless activities, you're scrolling through your phone, very meaningless. The more meaningless things you do in your day-to-day, the more meaningless your life will become, and the harder it is to attract very high-quality women that you want to create an emotional bond with. Because, like, the days of hit it, quit it one time, see her once, never speak to her again type of things, it's kind of like there really is no point to doing that. The next time, like, let's say we meet women, let's try to create, let's say, a bond with them where they want to keep coming back. It takes a lot of, let's say, effort to be able to do this, but the man who can do this really has his way with anything in life. And the way to do this, to create, let's say, like an emotional bond with her, so maybe you can occupy her brain matter, and she can think about you nonstop. You sort of have to kind of get in her head a little bit. And this can be a very ethical way if you look at it. But the thing is, you have to be able to say a few certain and specific things that will make her think about what you said long after you're gone. Long after you're gone. And if you can do this where you can get her to think about you while you're not physically present, then you're pretty much creating a bond that no other person can create with her, and then she's emotionally tied to you. And that's pretty much that pretty much is how you attract, let's say, very significant woman. There's this technique called the scrambler. I mean, a lot of guys say it's about your looks, it's about how you look, it's about this, it's about like just your physical presence, it's about your monetary status, it's about people are saying your looks and stuff. I mean, if you do this with very good look, and you're very good looking, then it's gonna work a lot more effectively. But a lot of guys, I mean, some guys are not that physically put together, and I mean, that goes to them. But in order to, let's say, attract her in a very, let's say, way where she's, let's say, emotionally invested in you, you're gonna have to make her feel certain things when you're with her. You're gonna have to be very charismatic and maybe a little bit witty by the way you talk. You're gonna have to be very decisive and intentional about the things that you say to her. You're gonna have to look at her in a certain specific way. You're gonna have to try to create an emotional roller coaster with the things that you say. You're gonna have to try to create this thing called deep rapport, where you link yourself with something that she's emotionally invested in, and then anytime she's doing it or thinking about that, she relates that to you, and that really pretty much has you more of a that ties you up with her emotions, and now you're her emotional, let's say, treasure chest, where she may look for you for certain emotions. And this is pretty much how This is why, let's say the jerk sometimes is considered the person who gets the woman, because they have grappled her emotions, and they make her feel certain things when he's with her. And this is why sometimes the nice guy does not finish first, or the nice guy finishes last, because he's not really making her feel anything. He's buying her things and making her like not really feeling anything. She's just doing what she wants, and that really isn't going to give you an emotional edge. The thing is, you're going to have to create an emotional edge. You're going to have to, the things that you can do to create that emotional bond with her is you're going to have to tease her. You're going to have to banter her. You're going to have to link something that she pretty much likes and then relate that back to you. You're gonna have to ask her very intriguing questions. You're gonna have to get her to open up. The thing is, the purpose of every type of interaction is you're asking her some very deep, some very let's say open-ended questions. And the more open-ended questions they are, you're gonna get her to talk. And then the more you get her to talk, you're going to look for something that you both can emotionally connect on. Maybe it's something about, hey, that reminds me of my dog, or something like that. And then you start talking about how you have a certain specific type of, let's say, same type of dog or something like that. And then you start talking about how, for an example, how you had a very loving dog, but then your dog like got mauled by another dog, and she basically died or something like that, which is very not funny. But the thing is, you're tying very emotional things, let's say, to yourself, and then you're creating an emotional roller coaster where you're creating something that was a very happy beginning, but it ended up very, very bad. And this is just an example. But the point is, you're trying to tie yourself with something that she can emotionally connect to. And the more you can do this, you're going to create, like I said, create an emotional bond with her. There is intention every time you ask her a question. The more you can get her to open up, and then you can relate, like I said, you can relate something that she just talked about with something to you, and it creates some sort of emotional type of thing with her. The more you're going to be looked at her, you're going to be looked at as someone who is more attractive to her in her eyes, because you make her feel things when you talk to her. That's the whole point. A lot of guys think this is like very logical, like you just ask her questions, how's your day, blah blah blah, and that's not making her feel anything. And if you don't make her feel anything, then you're not going to get anything from her. You kind of have to, the thing is when you're talking to her, like I said, you have to make her feel a certain way, and then you have to talk about something like in her childhood, how, for another example, let's say you had a friend, and she was talking about ice cream or something like that, and then eventually, like, you were talking about this moment in your childhood where you both were getting ice cream, and then the ice cream truck hit your friend and caused him to go to the hospital. This is just another example of something that seems very, very not significant, seems very not really that like important, but it became important because of the things that happened with you and her, with you and your friend, quote unquote. And this basically this is a back and forth type of thing that you do. The moment you do this, you stop talking about it, and then you talk about something that's very different and normal, and then you kind of do this over and over again until you make her feel that specific emotion kind of every time you're with her. And this is how she's gonna get more intrigued by you. You're gonna have to tell her a story. You have to be really good at telling stories. Because, like, think about it, like, if you went to a movie and it didn't have any emotional turns, an emotional twist, you would get bored with the movie and you would rate it very poorly. But if it had a lot of twists and turns and it made you feel a certain way, and it maybe it even made you feel a way that you kind of connected with the movie, you're gonna give it 5-star ratings because it did something to you emotionally. And like I said, like, it's called having an emotional high. The man who can really do this, who can perfect this, pretty much can get his way with anything in business and in life, because he knows how to paint a picture and make people feel things on the spot. And more people are going to want to be a part of it because people like feeling certain emotions. So yeah, this is pretty much it. The logical conversation, the how you doing, how was your day, where do you go to school, that type of isn't gonna work on certain type of women because they're too used to guys being nice to her. You have to make her feel a certain way. If you don't make her feel anything, she's not gonna be with you. She's not gonna be with you. And the thing is, another question is like, guys ask, like, what do I say as soon as I start talking to her? And the thing is, it's not really what you say, it's how you say it and how you feel about it. The thing is, you have to get to a point in your life where you feel really good all the time. And you can carry a conversation with anybody on the spot. Because, like, if you don't feel good, or if you don't feel as good as you can really, then you're not gonna be very shallow with what you say. You're not gonna think things through. And that means your questions are not gonna be as intriguing as they could be. Your questions are not going to be as intriguing as they could be. And this is a pretty big problem, because if you're not, like I said before, if you're not making her feel anything, then she's not going to be that intrigued and interested in you. So make sure you're making her feel things. And the best thing to do this is to ask very open-ended questions and then let her do all the talking, most of the talking, and then try to connect something that she said to you, and then create a story about that makes her feel certain emotions, and then stop doing it, and then just do it over and over again. So like I said, every type of question that you ask there has to be a reason why you're asking those questions, so you can relate to it, to something that you may went through, and something that made you feel a certain way, and that is going to correlate to her feeling a certain way. And that's pretty much how things go. And also, like I said, feel really good. And it's better to be on, let's say, no fat and retention, and consistently putting in the work when you do this, because it just makes it a lot more intriguing. You have to start being a lot more intriguing and captivating. So if this makes sense, you can like, comment, and subscribe below. And then, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.